Why do people hate Ashes of Creation? Now, there's three main reasons we're going to talk about this, two of which I can show you, so let me just do it. One of those reasons is this news post by Massively Overpowered, but we'll come back to that in a second. And the second one is this Reddit post that was posted only 2 hours ago, so it's quite recent. And the title of it is basically the title of this video, so I'm pretty sure you can see where I got the inspiration, right? Why do you hate Ashes of Creation? Now, obviously that's an open-ended question and we'll talk about it in a second. And the third reason is from my Twitch chat. I know that's not going to explain anything right now. If you want to come talk to me, at the moment I mainly stream New World. I do the monthly Ashes of Creation videos, but obviously I can't play Ashes of Creation right now, so I'm playing something else. And the thing that I am playing is New World, and I know that will put a lot of you off. But I would love you to come and follow me over there anyway. Right, so it's the combination of these things that have got me started to talk about this subject. Why do some people hate Ashes of Creation? And I saw this news post a couple of days ago. I didn't really think it warranted its own video, but now that we've had a couple of extra things that sort of make me want to talk about this subject, yeah, I just wanted to mention it. Now, I don't specifically want to call out the author here, whose name is Chris Neal. I'm not going to be able to hide it, it's on the screen. But if I read little excerpts of it, you'll sort of understand that it seems that at least this specific author on this website has some kind of, maybe bias, but he seems to not like the game, even though the game isn't out yet. So literally the first thing he says is the seemingly non-stop parade of Alpha 2 preview videos from Ashes of Creation continued this weekend. Then he refers to the game as a gang box, and rather amusingly, if not flatteringly, he then refers to Steven Sharif as an excited Pomeranian. There's not much else in the article, but I think just those three sort of statements alone sort of suggest there might be a little bit of a bias there. Which is fine, it's fine to not like a game, especially one that's not out. On a side note, I don't really understand how Steven Sharif is being compared to a Pomeranian, but you know, there you have it. Having Googled it here, do I see any similarities? No, not really. But one thing that was mentioned in that post was the start, right? And it actually gets reiterated on the Reddit. I think the constant teasing of information for a very long time is leaving some people to be sort of semi-frustrated. Ashes of Creation was kickstarted in 2017, and I think they might have actually worked on it a little bit before then, but 2017, you know, was quite a while ago at this point, nearly 7 years. Well, it's 7 years in May. And we're not even at the Alpha 2 stage, and the game could very easily be 3, 4, 5 years away right now. I think it's very likely going to have been probably a decade minimum from when this game was kickstarted to when it will actually launch, probably a little bit more than that as well. Now, obviously MMOs do take a while, but Steven alluded to this in the recent dev stream as well, actually. He said, you know, I understand that if you're getting teased, it's going to feel a little bit awkward and maybe it's going to create a little bit of impatience. The more you see of Ashes of Creation, the more excited you might feel, and then that excitement could very easily lead itself to frustration. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened to the guy who wrote the article, but I think there are some people who are a little bit just fed up of hearing about something before they can get it. Personally, I sort of wish, now I know this doesn't apply to Ashes of Creation, but it applies to games like maybe like Chrono Odyssey or Arcade 2 or, you know, some of the MMOs like the Riot MMO. I wish we didn't hear anything until they were actually very close to arrival. Now, I know that doesn't make sense with Ashes of Creation because obviously we've got the open development, and I know the Ghostcrawler MMO is doing the same kind of thing. In fact, they're actually planning on showing something off quite soon, which is going to be very interesting. But yeah, I sort of just want to hear about stuff when it's coming, not 5 years down the line. But for sure, I completely understand that as a frustration. And then there's a couple of other points from the Reddit, right? Some people say, I don't hate it. A lot of the people are going to not admit to hating it at this point. It's not the kind of thing that you really want to be like, yes, I hate a game that's not out yet, because quite frankly, that doesn't really make any sense. But they say that they hate that people are overhyping it. Now, Ashes of Creation, quite frankly, is probably overhyped. This is why it's a game that's got so many content creators, me being one of them, and it's why it gets so much interest in terms of like views on both YouTube and on Twitch. Big content creators are interested in it. It's overhyped. I don't know if it can fully deliver on that. It might actually be realistically hyped. I sort of doubt it. I think there's a lot of people who are going to be a little bit put off by the game when they figure out what the game is. I think at the minute everybody sort of thinks it might be for them, even though realistically it won't be. But to be honest, there's all kinds of reasons. This person doesn't like the idea that they're doing a cosmetic cash shop. I mean, to be honest, I sort of feel like that ship has sailed. Sure, I would absolutely love and prefer that there was no cash shop at all, right? That's in theory the dream, and you would think a sub-based game would be the best option for that. To be honest though, they just simply wouldn't make enough money. Cosmetics, as we've seen before, make an absolute shed ton of money. I can't fully remember what the Pirate Software guy said, but there was like a skin for a mount, I think in World of Warcraft, that made more than the entirety of StarCraft 2. That's crazy. So I think we've lost this battle, and I don't think we're ever going to win it. This Redditor's talking about the long development process we've already spoke about. Yeah, makes sense. It can be frustrating to be teased, basically. I really wanted to say edged then, but I don't know if YouTube will hate me for that. Not a fan of being edged myself. There's all kinds of reasons you might not be interested in Ashes of Creation. It's not actually unreasonable to be not interested. I think it's a little bit unreasonable to hate the game. I personally don't see any reason that would cause a high amount of disdain. I would maybe border hating if they don't actually make the game, but they are obviously trying to make something. It's pretty almost assuredly not a scam at this point, I would think. Even if it doesn't sort of realistically deliver on what they say, they are trying. But I just want to talk about this point because this person says it's bland, which to be fair, do you know what? I actually sort of agree with this. One thing that I would say is that the world of Verra sort of doesn't seem, I don't know, I'm not emotionally attached to it. It doesn't seem to have any real charm at the minute, but I mean, expecting charm during the production phase might be a little bit too much. But the next statement actually leads me back to Twitch a little bit, where this person says, it looks like New World, honestly. Now, I have to fundamentally disagree with that. However, I sort of understand the comparison. New World sort of lacks the same kind of thing. It actually has a beautiful environment, as does Ashes of Creation. Its sound design was good, the graphics were good, but it yet again didn't really have any atmosphere or anything that really sort of made you connect with the game. But more specifically, I think there are a lot of people, say from games like New World, who are looking for a little bit more in the MMOs than what the old traditional MMOs have given us. And in particularly, I'm talking about combat. And the recent Fighter Showcase was an example of that. There's quite a lot of people in my comments talking about, hey, this game is tab target, no thank you. And this obviously gets reiterated often in my Twitch chat because my Twitch chat primarily, but not necessarily always, are New World Andes. We like action combat because we like that game. And for a lot of us, it's actually sort of spoiled tab target. Not for me. I think I can go back. I'm pretty sure I can because I played Throne of Liberty and I didn't actually hate the combat. But the combat is something that, you know, has been discussed quite a lot. You have traditional tab target people who really just want that. They're happy with it. They're not bothered. And then you have action combat Andes, maybe BDO enjoyers and New World enjoyers. And then I think you've got people who are just happy if we get a sort of more modern interpretation of tab. And when I say that, I'm talking about games like Guild Wars 2 or ESO, where it's basically the hybrid or the action mode from Ashes of Creation, which is still sort of technically tab because you can literally press tab and cycle through the enemies and you don't actually have to aim properly. It's basically if the target is in front of you and you're not fully over them, the ability will actually just hit the target anyway because that's the target you are selecting. So you have those kind of like interwoven modes. Ashes of Creation is obviously going with the pseudo action combat and proper tab target. Now me personally, I would absolutely love it if they got rid of the actual tab target mode. However, they're not going to do that at this point, and nor should they, right? Because actually Intrepid's vision is to have both. Why would they change for people like me? They are making a game that they want to make, and you know what? They should finish the job. But I think the combat for other people, we hope for more modern interpretation of tab. And one thing that did sort of worry me about the combat updates, it doesn't appear that the dodging is being all that used very much at the minute. I'm not saying it's been removed, but you know, they're not showing it off. And the blocking is obviously not getting used that much either in PvE. But I think that Ashes of Creation will do just enough for tab target to make me happy and hopefully enough other people. What I don't want is just WoW. And I know that the fighter update was basically a lot of WoW abilities just modernized. But yeah, I think some people are just looking for something new and interesting, and Ashes of Creation is definitely more old school than new, so it would sort of be a bit weird if they tried to revolutionize combat in that way. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, a little bit of a different sort of more rambly, talky video than before. Let me know if you think that worked. If you want to help me and support the channel, becoming a Patreon is actually truly the best way. You can always come and talk to me over on Twitch. As I said, I play New World. It is what it is. I'll be playing Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 though, when we do get it. For now, have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.